Hey yo guys, what's up? Today we are actually watching Zagdi films. If you guys remember, I just did a video reacting to her story and his story. It was nice, but history one.
Roses are red, violets are blue.
Yup. So today we're actually reacting to Zagdi films. So okay. Shorts, we are actually going to popular, and let's do it.
When you get stitches, a doctor threads a needle through your wound and pulls it tight to close the skin. As the stitches hold the edges together, the wound becomes inflamed as new cells.
Whoa, I never knew that. The title is How Do Stitches Work? I mean, okay, I guess Zagdi Films telling us how do stitches work, I guess.
Begin to repair the tissue. Afterwards, connective tissues and collagens start to create skin. Then, blood vessels form to nourish these developing tissues, filling in the area. And over a few weeks, the wound will have healed together and the stitches are removed. When you get stitches, a doctor threads a needle through your wound and pulls it tight to close the. If you get a splinter, most people just go ahead and pull them out.
Yeah, everyone does that. Dude, I never even met a single person never did that. Huh?
But sometimes they get lodged so deep into your skin that you can't reach them. If the area gets infected, it will start to swell as pus forms under the skin. This creates pressure around the splinter that can sometimes push it upwards towards the skin's surface. And if you're lucky, after a certain period of time, your body could have completely removed it from your skin.
Bro, W skin. For doing that, he did have to cut that place open and get that splinter and stuff. W skin, push it up.
Have you ever noticed how odd the McFlurry spoon is? Well, some people think it's supposed to work like a straw, but you only have to try that once to realize it does not work. The true reason for these weird spoons is actually pretty genius. You see, McDonald's didn't want to clean their beaters after every McFlurry, so instead, they designed a spoon that would also work as the mixer. Have you ever noticed how...
Bro, McDonald's lazy. Bro, let's clean the beer and stuff, clean the McFlurry, why did I say said a beer? I don't even know. But clean the McFlurry, I mean, why you so lazy, bro?
If you shot a bullet at ancient armor...
Guys, I'm telling you, ancient armor does not work, okay? It's not bulletproof, okay? It's not bulletproof. If you have ancient armor and a little gun, don't test it, you might die.
Some people think it could actually stop the impact, but armor like chainmail was designed to block slashing swords, and plate armor was even better at deflecting strikes by spreading the blunt force across more area, lessening its impact. But these materials weren't very good at stopping arrows, which had enough energy to enter the armor, so a bullet would have no trouble going right through.
Okay, so a bullet has unlimited thing. So no armor can stop bullets. Guys, comment down below. Is there any armor can protect a human from a bullet? Tell me, guys.
If you somehow removed all of the blood vessels in your body.
What the? Who in the world is gonna do that? I mean, I know there's a lot of blood vessel in your body, but who's gonna do that? You're just gonna crumble
body and tied them together. You might think it would be about this long, but the human body has thousands of these tiny vessels that weave in and out of every body part. And with all of them combined, if you started in New York, your blood vessels would make it all the way to the Grand Canyon. It would go on to reach all the way across the Pacific Ocean, over Japan, Asia, and all of Europe. And not only would it make it all the way back to your starting point, but it would be able to make this trip 2 to 4 times over.
What the?
If you somehow
That's scientifically huge. Like Zaggy Films. Are you like watching YouTube shorts or something, or how you're getting these informations from? Like, bruh.
When a firing squad shoots a prisoner, one of the bullets actually isn't real. You see, one of the rifles is loaded with a blank, but it still fires and kicks back when the trigger is pulled. The soldiers aren't told which rifle it is, casting doubt on who actually shot and killed the man. This way, the soldiers can feel less guilty and sleep at night, knowing there was a chance that they weren't the one to kill him. When a firing squad shoots a prisoner, one of the bullets actually isn't real.
Bruh, I didn't get anything about that. Let's read the title. Why one shooter gets a blank round? Okay, I can read now. Okay. So now,
if everyone on Earth clipped their toenails and
bro, who's gonna do that? Who in the world is gonna do that? Like, so you're telling me somebody is gonna do that? How? So Zaggy Films is telling me everyone in the world. I mean, I'm not telling about the country in the world. We are going to Google, okay? Oh, 83 billion. 8.3 billion, okay. Okay. So, like 8.3 billion is gonna do that. Everybody. 8.3 billion. Okay. Yeah. Zaggy Films, you're making nonsense. I mean,
if everyone on Earth clipped their toenails and threw them into the ocean, you might think they'd float and blanket a huge area. But toenails don't actually float, so they would pile up at the bottom of...
Zaggy Films, are you a genius? Like, who learned this? I didn't even knew this. Toenails not float? Bro, toenails, is balloons. Zaggy Films is lying to us. Okay.
The ocean, as over 82 billion clippings rain down, it would choke fish and smother the seafloor until a massive pile broke through the surface.
That's evil, bro. If you guys didn't know, corals are actually fishes. I think so. So, poor fishes, bro.
And after this global clipping, you would have a walkable toenail island 10 times bigger than Central Park.
Bruh.
If everyone on Earth clipped... When a doctor gives you a shot, they can sometimes accidentally push the needle all the way through your vein, which ends up puncturing both sides. Once the needle is removed, it leaves 2 holes in the vein. And before the body can...
Bro, I'm pretty sure you can die or not. I think that's dangerous. I don't get it. Like, is the doctor has like doctor license of stuff? Like, bruh.
Thicken the blood and seal these holes, it bleeds into the surrounding tissues. This leaked blood forms a dark, tender area under the skin, creating bruises and splotchy areas. When a doctor gives you a shot, they can sometimes...
That was that was a like clean loop, but poor guy, bro. He has bruises and stuff like, bro, poor guy. Who got that, bro? Poor, bro. R.I.P. I think he died. I think.
Have you ever wondered how this trick is done? It's one of those things where you know he can't actually be making the salt disappear, but it's still confusing to look at. Well, it turns out...
I also like wonder that. Now I actually know there's actually a fake finger filled with salt, and when they like pour it, it comes out and like impressive, bruh. I let him know it how Zachy Films. I'm actually watching you. Zachy Films, I'm watching you. I know that.
Have you ever wondered how this trick is done? It's one of those things where you know he can't actually be making the salt disappear, but it's still confusing to look at. Well, it turns out that the simplest explanation is the right one. Look closely at his hand during this shot. Do you notice how he sort of grabs his thumb here? Well, this is because he's using a prop called a Dofi finger. He holds it in his fist like a cup, fills it up with the salt, gets it onto his other thumb, and then grabs it off his thumb back into the first position. Watch it again and see if you can notice. Have you ever wondered how this trick is done? It's one of those things where you know he can't actually be making the salt disappear, but it's still...
I'm not gonna lie, I told you guys, ain't like impressive. I literally knew it. Yeah. So, let's move on.
If you lose one of your adult teeth, the bone...
It's not gonna grow anymore. You're done. You're gonna have a missing teeth.
Where the tooth once was can start to deteriorate. To prevent further damage, a dentist will fill the cavity with a synthetic material that mimics real bone. Once filled, a metal bracket is secured on top and the incision is closed. After the graft has healed, a large implant post is inserted into the new bone. Then a small metal piece is screwed in and a porcelain tooth is secured on top. If you lose one of your adult teeth, the bone where the tooth once was, they opened the pallet of ammunition only to find it was full of Tootsie Rolls. You see, Tootsie Roll was a code name for mortar rounds, which the Marines desperately needed. But the radio operator who received the order didn't know that and sent the actual candy instead. At first, the Marines were angry, but the sub-freezing temperatures had frozen all their food, and the candies ended up sustaining them over the next few days. They even used them to plug bullet holes by warming them up and letting them freeze in place. And eventually, the real mortar rounds did arrive. They opened the pallet of...
Whoa, W Tootsie Rolls, bro.
If you accidentally touched a table saw, you'd probably think your fingers would be cut off. But this isn't always the case. You see, some modern high-end saws actually know the difference between wood and your skin. Once your finger comes...
They didn't do this because Zachy Films said this is modern things, like modern saw. It can't cut your fingers like now.
In contact with these special saws, it immediately detects the electrical conductivity from your skin. This triggers an immediate mechanical response that stops the blade in less than 5 milliseconds.
Huh?
If you accidentally touched a table... When a honeybee stings a human, they actually get stuck for a while and can't leave. And this is because their stinger is barbed, which means it can't retract once it's lodged into something. But once the bee finally pulls away, its insides get ripped out because the stinger stays in the skin. This leaves the bee without some of its internal organs, resulting in its death. When a honeybee stings a human,
poor bee, bro. Bro, I wish the bees was never like stung anyone, so the bees can like live happily and not die.
Have you ever wondered about this little dangly thing at the back of your throat? Well, even though it looks like a miniature punching bag, it actually serves a handful of important functions. You see, when you swallow food, this thing called a uvula actually swings backwards to prevent the food from going up your nose. It's also constantly producing saliva to keep the throat moist, which aids in swallowing. And because there's a tiny muscle inside the uvula, it can move around, which helps you speak. Have you ever wondered? A red-hot iron is pushed into the tree, wounding it on purpose. Then a syringe filled with salt
Bro, who
water
will do that? I mean,
is emptied inside the hole. This causes the tree to flood the damaged area
ew, bro. Is that tree peeing, bro?
with sticky resin to stop the damage. And over the next few years, the resin slowly spreads, turning into a sweet-smelling wood deep inside the trunk. Finally, it's harvested and sold for thousands of dollars per...
Whoa! Thousands! Okay, greedy people might do that, okay? Greedy people might do that.
Now, before being made into a luxury perfume. A
And that
red-hot
perfume costs like $1,000. Yeah, no thank you.
If you stuck a long sword out of a car aiming for a tree, the sword would obviously snap and rip from your hands. But what if the sword is unbreakable, you have an indestructible grip, and your body is physically immovable? Well, the force would then transfer to the car. It would screech to a halt as the sword hits. But what if the car can't stop and is forced to keep moving? Now the tree should split in half. But if the tree is indestructible too, with no way to break, bend, or stop, the energy has nowhere to escape. Would this unleash a massive shockwave as powerful as a nuclear explosion? Or worse, something reality itself isn't equipped to contain?
Bruh.
If you stuck
That was the nerd emoji video I ever seen. Bruh.
If you're stuck in a water slide that's filling up with water, most people think they should try to climb back up. But the slippery surface makes this nearly impossible. Instead, focus on staying calm and try to create space for air by tilting your head back. If water keeps rising, use your hands to push yourself forward. If you can't move, brace yourself as the water fills the slide entirely. Once the pressure equalizes, you may be able to push forward and float to safety. If you're stuck in a water slide that's filling up with water, most people imagine waking up in a coffin and realizing that you were mistakenly buried alive. Now, this wouldn't happen with the medical guidelines we have today.
So you're telling me there's actually graves, there's there in the past where some graves we have not today. What?
But in the 19th century, old coffins were found with scratch marks on the inside, making this a legitimate concern. So as a solution, they started adding strings inside the coffins that traveled up to the ground and were connected to a little bell. And if you woke up underground in a coffin, you could just ring the bell, signaling that you're still alive. Imagine waking up in a coffin and realizing that you were mistakenly buried
I'm
alive.
not gonna lie, that's the first, good thing I heard. I mean, what is this? Okay, so this one now.
If you're trapped in the trunk of a vehicle, you should immediately start searching for the glow-in-the-dark release hatch. If you don't see the latch, don't panic. Trunks are not airtight, so there's no risk of running out of oxygen. Try feeling around the edges of the trunk for a handle. This may allow you to release the seat back. As a last resort, kick out one of the brake lights. This small opening will allow you to signal for help. If you're trapped in the trunk of a vehicle, you should when you use a derma roller, it pushes a tiny nail is placed inside the drilled hole. Then it's glued shut and repainted. This makes one side of the die heavier, causing the opposite side to land face up more often, allowing you to cheat. Another method is heating the die slightly with the number you want.
Guys, don't do this. I heard it can actually, I think it could actually blow up. I think.
Upwards. As it cools down, the melted part settles unevenly, which changes its balance, making it more likely to land on your chosen number. And sometimes, certain sides of the die are shaved down to make them flatter. The flatter side doesn't roll as easily, making it land on the bottom with the number you want facing up.
So this is showing. This is Zach Films showing us how to, cheat.
If you get a skin tag, some people think you can just rip them off yourself, but you actually shouldn't do this. You see, skin tags are connected to your body by a thin piece of tissue, and if you looked inside of it, the tag actually has its own nerves and blood vessels. Ripping it off would cause significant bleeding, and the open wound would be susceptible to infection. Instead, if you want them removed, a doctor can freeze them off with liquid nitrogen, which is a better option. If you get a
Okay. So I have these things, skin tags. So I can literally use liquid nitrogen. Hey, doctor! Is there any liquid nitrogen? Because I need to remove my skin tags. Bruh, I'm being so lazy, okay.
Have you ever wondered why the letter E isn't used to grade?
Yep. Why the letter E is skipped?
Use A, B, C, D, and F, but they skip E. Why is this? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. You see, back in the day, schools did use the letter E, but in the 1930s, they decided to stop after students and parents thought that it meant excellent. It was quickly replaced with F, because F for failed made more sense. Have you ever wondered why?
So E means it's not excellent. It doesn't mean excellent. So it means fail? What dumb question is this, bruh?
The soldier's foot would break through a hidden bamboo slat and into a hole if they stepped onto a cartridge trap. Inside, a bullet was positioned on top of a nail that was fastened to a wooden board. And when the soldier's foot hit this shell, it pushed the nail into the primer. This caused the shell to suddenly explode and shoot back up at the soldier. The soldier's foot would break.
I think that hurts. Oh darn tootin' no. Oh darn tootin' no. No. Okay. So guys, the final one is Zach Films' oldest short. Okay. I'm ready. Guys, close your eyes. I'm closing my eyes. Okay. I messed up. So I'm going. Okay. Hey, yo, ma. What What is this?
This is $60,000. Let's pretend this equals Jeff Bezos' net worth of $186 billion. This is what Oprah's net worth would look like, $850.
Okay.
Gary Vee would have a whopping $50. Mr. Beast is pocket change, coming in at around $18. A millionaire would have about 33 cents. And the average net worth of a 35-year-old would be one single penny. This is $60,000. Let's pretend this equals Jeff Bezos' net worth of $186 billion.
Oh. So that's like, Zachy Films' oldest video. So guys, it's nice to watch these. I guess it's over. So like and subscribe if you want me to come back again. So I'm Nicola and I'm out.